Of course. Of course I wasn't filming. Everything was going so smooth. Here we go again. Round 2. What was I saying? I'm gonna start removing the stock engine harness from this guy, and then we're gonna route the wiring specialties harness. There's the important, already read it. So they have full instructions. Installation guides are located on the wiring specialties website, which is pretty sweet. I looked it up on my phone. I have it ready to go, but I'm just gonna rip off the stock harness and then run everything. The first thing it said to do on the document is to run it through the firewall first into the engine bay, but I don't know if I'm gonna locate the ECU in the engine bay or in the car. I don't fully know. I kind of want to tuck it somewhere where there's gonna be a bunch of stuff, so I'm probably not gonna put it through the firewall yet. I'm just gonna have it kind of dangling out here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start moving the stock engine harness and go from there. It isn't on the bottom of the intake, which is nice. It's actually in the runner's area down in here. Down under there. Right down there. That's kind of where this whole harness is going. All of these are gonna be unplugged and removed. All these plugs are super brittle. They're just breaking off. So it's kind of nice that I'm replacing this actually. It's fine. I might take the intake off. A while. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. Thankfully, no wires went to the back of the engine. I was worried someone kind of went down there, but we are chilling so far. I'm wondering, I still might move the engine to get back and kind of do some plumbing. Like I'd have to do the heater cords back there. I really should have taken more steps to do this correctly, and I didn't. So I'm gonna run the wiring harness right now. This boy. I'm going to lay out the harness on the ground next to this bad boy. See how it goes. See what we're working with. So like ECU side. Lambo. Yeah, so I think it's similar to that. So I'm just gonna lay this bad boy. God damn, there's so many wires. This is supposed to go through the firewall. That's why there's so many extra wires. Reverse speed up. This is transmission. This actually goes on the bottom of the runners. And then injectors are going to go up above the runners. So, it's all wired actually. It just took a long time to like feed the wires through and kind of tuck it how I wanted it to be. But pretty much the main harness runs down. I have to like still secure it up, but the main harness back there goes completely under the intake manifold, and then each injector plug comes in through the runner slots in here. So you gotta do that. I wrapped it all around here, ran it down here. I tucked as much as I could. I did take the throttle body off because it was easier to get that old harness off, which was fine. So now pretty much I have to determine where the rest of the harness is gonna go. ECU related stuff. I don't know if it's gonna be on this side, left side, or right side. I don't know yet. There's not really much room on the right side. I don't fully know yet. I might tuck it over here. I just didn't really want to because that's where the hot side of the engine is gonna be, but it's kind of optional wherever I want to put it. It is long enough and everything, so now I just need to plug in ECU and this guy igniter. So every single time all these plugs have just broke off. They're all super fragile, I guess. They've all mostly broken off. They're super fragile. But this guy goes right here. That's pretty much it. Everything's good. I didn't get the added plug for the transmission that I was gonna kind of splice and cut because I didn't want to fuck with this harness. But so I'll contact them. I don't really need that to get it running or anything. That's just like speedo kind of stuff. Yeah, as of now, this is all fine. The rest of these plugs are for the throttle body. I did all the grounds, and I'm gonna zip tie some shit. Super clean. I like it a lot. It's just kind of like however much time you want to spend tucking things and kind of feeding them. It was pretty intimidating at first, honestly, getting all these wires and stuff, but as soon as you just start it, my advice would be follow the instructions. I mean, it does tell you what to do. Start with the starter, do that, do the power to the starter and the plug to the starter, tighten it, and then kind of run it through, plug in a few of these so you know kind of where it's gonna route, and then you're just gonna, I did like injectors next, fed those through, did the knock sensors, and kind of just work your way around and make sure it's tight. Keep tightening it a little bit so there's not a whole bunch of slack, but don't pull super hard. And yeah, I got the rest of these. This is gonna be an alternator, power, and ground kit. That's it. I'll wrap everything up later. I'll figure out where ECU is gonna go. Kind of tuck it in a corner. Probably gonna be over there. Yeah, I mean, looks pretty damn good though. Getting excited about it. Got my oil. So it's for the oil cooler delete, because I took that whole block off that runs coolant through before it gets to the filter oil cooler, just because it just removes a lot of stuff, and it's pretty simple. Suspicious Garage, they have it on there. It's literally just this guy. Gonna thread in to where the oil filter would go, tighten down, and then oil filter just threads right on here and then seals on that other seal. So it's a 1-inch socket is what I'm using. But anyways, this guy literally just threads in there, tighten it down. I mean, pretty good. It's going into the iron block. And that's it, and then the oil filter just threads right onto it. It's right there. It just threads in where the normal oil filter would go. So the main block is right there. And then this just eliminates that whole thing. And then you can just put the filter directly on that guy. And I also got a pulley so I can make that bracket. It's gonna go right here, and the pulley is it's just an idler pulley, but it's gonna go right about here, so then the serpentine can actually go on without the power steering there. So it's probably just gonna be a bracket from the mounting point of the power steering bracket itself. So this guy should just go like right around here. I went and found my ECU that I was looking for. I was getting kind of worried I couldn't find it. I was looking for it, but I just found it in one of my boxes. So thankfully, I still have it, because I would have sucked up guys. I mean, like, it's got this little intake for cooling right here or something weird. I don't know. Oops. Whoopsies. Cool. RX-8 ECU. And the 1J ECU. This is an automatic transmission, but I heard people can run them and it works fine. So I'm gonna be running both of these guys because engine management and then everything else in the Mazda. So I'm gonna have to figure out somewhere in the engine bay to actually put all this stuff. I'm guessing it's gonna be on this side of the engine somewhere, like tucked away and then covered with some stuff. So I mean, that's, I don't know, we'll see. All right, let's start over. I didn't post last week. I'll talk about that in the end of the video on how I'm gonna do the videos differently. And yeah, as far as the 1JZ goes, pretty easy to do. It was very intimidating to do the wiring harness, not gonna lie. Having the front core support cut off made it way easier to work on. Definitely would do it again if I had to. I would highly recommend looking at the instructions on Wiring Specialties website. It kind of just like helps you understand what to do, and it'll help you walk you through it, because at first it was like, holy shit, there's a lot of fucking plugs on this thing. As soon as you get going and get like a few of them plugged in, you kind of just like follow the rest of it, plug it in, read them. They're all labeled. Every single plug is labeled, which is super nice. On their installation guide, it shows pictures that points to where they actually go. Not all of them, but the majority of them. It helped a lot, because at first it was like, wow, I don't know. But definitely worth looking into. But I didn't film the whole install process because it's kind of like you could spend as much time as you want tucking the wires and figuring out where you want to go. It doesn't give specifics on like where to put each wire. It gives you the general idea, and then kind of depending on how much time you want to spend on it, you can kind of like figure out where you want the wires to go. It'll look the best for you and all this stuff. So I spent a lot of time just like trying something. It didn't look that good, so I took it back out and tried it again, all this stuff. I think the biggest thing that helped me was getting the main harness under the intake and then doing the starter, power, and one other plug. I can't remember exactly which one. It might have been a ground or something over there. You do that, and then you kind of go all the way around with the longer part of the harness, wrap it over the engine, and then plug in the alternator stuff for that. And then from there, you kind of pull the harness to tighten it up and then figure out where things go. It's because I didn't tighten it, would run some wires, and then I realized there was extra slack, and you pull it, and then you have to rewind the wires. So just stuff like that, and figuring it out and figuring out where I wanted the wires to go to make it look clean. It looks really good. It looks super clean. I like it a lot. But all the plugs are labeled. Every single one tells you what it's for. Their website helps a lot. It was pretty easy. It was just very intimidating at first because there was a whole lot of plugs and wires. Pretty mellow and easy. I still have to do all the cabin wires as far as like speedo. Like there's all those like cut wires. They're also labeled. All the colored cut wires that you have to wire in yourself if you want them. I don't know if you necessarily need them to actually make the engine run. It's for all the, I'm pretty sure, like OBD2 monitoring kind of shit. I got my steering rack brackets to lower it a few inches. I'll link the website, but these say ls1rx8.com. It was $230 for these, and he forgot to send me the steering extension that'll make it the difference of this, and you just make it, work. But he forgot to send that, so I contacted him. He's sending it. Should be here pretty soon. But $230 for both of them, pretty good. I just didn't want to deal with the headache of figuring this out, and rather just buy them because they also look cool and they're billet aluminum. I found some polyurethane bushings that I've always had laying around my house, so I have these guys. I might buy some. I don't know what I'm doing for sure yet. I got metal to do the engine mounts this weekend, but these guys I might modify them a little bit to make them actually work. I just have to get piping, a sleeve that'll go over this. I think I'm going to shorten each one of these sides, cut this probably in half so it's a little bit shorter, so it's a normal size. This is a little bit longer than it should be. Or I might buy them. I don't know, because it might be kind of hard to find tubing with an inner diameter that fits this perfectly. And I might not want to deal with that headache. So I might make these work if I'm in a rush, which I'll probably make these work. But I just had them laying around, so I thought I'd use them. I got this guy. This is that they forgot, Wiring Specialties forgot to send this too. It's just one of those small little pigtails for the transmission. Plugs in to the harness here, and then these wires are gonna be cut into the pre-existing thing because they didn't have anything for the RX-8 6-speed transmission. So I'm gonna convert it. So the thing about this is I didn't want to cut the Wiring Specialties harness, to ruin the warranty and all that stuff. So I just bought this, like plug it in and then ruin this $8 piece rather than a $1,200 harness. I have to pull the engine out, which will be super easy now that I cut the front off. I was looking at it, it's always been kind of sideways, but I thought when I do the engine mounts, I'll kind of recenter it. I can't recenter it because it actually hits the steering rack bracket on the cross member. Where is it? What the fuck are you doing? I might not have taken pictures of it. Weird, I didn't take a picture of it. Basically, the bracket, the things that these go onto, that slam onto the cross member, the bracket, it's too wide on the cross member, and my engine actually hits it. The oil pan hits it. I can't center the engine perfectly. So I measured it. The engine has to go like 2 inches one way. I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was a little bit, but it's got to go 2 inches to the right if you're looking at it. So I'm pretty much gonna have to pull the engine out, which will be kind of nice because I want to do a few things that I forgot to do anyways, and it's pretty easy to take out. So I'm gonna take it out, notch that bracket, weld it, so reinforce it. I'm gonna notch it so the engine can go over all the way, and then I'll probably like sand down where I'm gonna be welding on the engine mount stuff. It's gonna be a lot easier to do while the engine's out. I'll probably mount the steering rack because it'll be a little bit easier to get to. And yeah, it's gonna go back in. I'm gonna do like the plumbing for like the heater core and like all those hoses and stuff that should have been done before. And yeah, the exhaust, after that, the exhaust might fit because it's got to go over that much more. Not that I'll use it as is, I'm still gonna get it modified, but it might not need as much modification as I thought before. So it'll be cheaper, is what I'm saying, which will be nice. So I don't want to spend a lot of money on that. I didn't do a video last week because I'm gonna be doing videos every other week from now on, because I want to spend more time on them and make them not half-assed and a little bit more quality. And yeah, so that's why I'm not doing a video every week. And it'll give me a little bit more time to make them quality and compress a little bit more content into it to make them less boring. This week's video wasn't super like a whole lot going on. It was just the wiring harness. For future stuff, it'll help a lot. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. Pretty sure I covered everything. The next video will be packed full of important stuff because we're coming up on the 4th of July pretty quick and I gotta get my car done. So thanks for watching. I post every other Friday. Keep you guys up to date on what's going on with the Mazda and random other stuff going on. So thanks for watching.